Ah, so the yellow light pops on and it looks like a casual Saturday morning Marketing Smarties is now live. Hi, everybody. I'm probably speaking to nobody, but that's okay. So if I'm just sitting here for a few minutes, you'll excuse me. I have no agenda today other than to catch up with everybody, see how you're doing, say hi, ask you how life is, how your summer's going. Well, if it's summer in your neighborhood, because for some people who watch the Saturday show of Saturday Morning Marketing Smarties, it might very well not be summer. So my summer might be your winter or something like that. And proof that the whole world is, well, not the whole world, but the whole world has access to this show from the very nature of Hangouts being worldwide, almost worldwide. I don't think there are some countries that can get internet or Google, so there are some limitations. But it's kind of miraculous that we have this opportunity. So I'm just sitting here messing around and I couldn't wait. I was all set a little bit early. So hopefully it's broadcasting as usual. I'm kind of getting into the swing of things all over again from taking several weeks off. So how's everybody? I see that it's very possible I will be joined by my niece Trinette, and that would be a big joy to this little gathering, whether it just turns out to be two people or if anyone else joins. Plus, it looks like Michael Thomas has RSVP'd, and Lowell Ann Fulsang has RSVP'd, and also Johan Kleis has RSVP'd. And I think I get 10 points kudos for the fact that I think I just pronounced your names properly. So we'll see. I'm going to be messing around here, checking some emails, and just being myself until somebody comes on and joins me. And so it's been, I took the month off mostly. We had the last Saturday morning Marketing Smarties, I believe, August 7th, and then nothing for the last few weeks. And I did say that I was maybe going to have an open house. What I mean by that is that I want to invite virtually anybody and everybody. Of course, we can only have 9 more people added, unless I jump out myself and let you guys play. And so I say virtually anybody, but we have had hangouts before where someone's come in and it's like, I think I'm going to have to eject this guy. I don't know who he is. He's not talking to us. He's just lurking in the background. We don't know what he's doing. The camera's not on. Hasn't said anything. Goodbye. And so had to pull him out. But that's one of the hazards by nature of opening up the Hangouts. And of course, most people do that by making it point-to-point invitation only and gathering with the green room crew ahead of time and then making sure that all the people are wanted. So we'll see what happens. And I'm going to up my bandwidth a little bit, see if I can increase the quality of my camera. Lord knows I need all the help I can get. So nobody is responding yet. I'm probably talking to myself. So it's not going to exactly be a very exciting hour, especially the 15 minutes before that officially starts. But there's nothing official about today anyway, so it doesn't matter. I am predicting. Oh, Trinette's trying her hardest to come on board with me. And I hope that I have somebody soon that they can tell me, gee, Roland, you've been mouthing words for the past 15 minutes and we can't hear a thing. but I think you can because my monitors are going off, little streaming green lights and stuff. So I probably caught Trinette off guard, and she's trying to figure out. Oh, let's see. Let me get all my equipment working properly here. Let's see. Someone. I was hoping that Bill might join us, and it looks like he may have. So maybe I'm speaking uh, virtually to Bill, and we'll see. Somebody came on. I'm going to see who this is. I really don't know who it is. Someone came on, a lady named Christine, and she started speaking with me in French. And I was like, say what? And, I got back to her in English. So she's responded to me in English, and I'm going to read my note that I received. Hmm. Pardon me as I write a note to whoever my new friend is that I'm meeting. I'm telling her she can meet me live right now. So um, we'll see what happens. In the meantime, let's see. We're about 6 minutes before the hour. Hi, Bill says he's here from Belize, and of course, almost most of our community knows that you're from Belize. They know your Belize tag better than your last name, which is Graham, which is a relatively famous last name. If you add the Lee at the end of Bill, but I'm not insinuating anything. Trinette says, I'm in. Is your camera working? You want to come in? So let's see what happens. The way I'm working this initially is especially because if people come in uh, early, then what I'll do is I want to send you directly an invitation to join us at the green room. And I don't want to send it to everybody just in case. Uh, hang on a second. I've got people responding, so let me see if I'm going to have to get to work here and not worry about the dialogue so much, and get some people invited in. Let's start with my niece. Niece is a funny word. Niece or Neice. Let's have a vote right now and figure out which it is. I know which it is, but it took me a while.
bugging now and figure out what it is.
I have finally been joined by somebody.
Hi.
Wow.
Hello, my sweet cousin. Yeah, I called you a cousin.
Something family. Yeah.
Yeah, you're practically a cousin,
Close enough.
How are you? How are you? I haven't seen you for quite some time.
Oh my goodness. Life just keeps going, woo!
Doesn't it? I took a month off from a Saturday morning Marketing Smarties, and it doesn't feel like I even took a month off. I have been so busy, and mostly it's with web design and new clients and stuff. So I can't complain, but I do miss the Smarties. But I wondered to myself, if I had run a show every week, what kind of condition would I be in right now if I'd tried to do all of that and all the new stuff too?
Right.
So just off, I'm going to try this again. Someone is trying to meet me, and I don't even know who it is. So they're saying, well, where are you? I'm trying to direct them to the show.
Oh, okay. Don't worry, I can entertain myself.
Well, no, talk to the people. There are maybe 4 or 5 people watching right now, whether they are making themselves known or not. And in a few minutes, 2 minutes more, other people might be rushing to their computers thinking, oh, I gotta make it to Roland's this monologue as he opens his program. The thing is, there is no monologue today.
Yeah, so that's the problem. I don't have a script. So, I mean, what do you want me to do, like jazz hands or?
Sure, if you like. I mean, this is all about having coffee and talking to people. And I really am not expecting 20 or 30 people to show up,
Okay.
Hang on one second.
So everyone's in the green room, and I started panicking. I'm like, I wasn't aware of that. So let me, brush my hair so it doesn't look like, I'm some kind of hobo.
Yeah, I had to do the same thing. So this person that's trying to meet me, I don't know who it is, or either that or I know who it is and I've forgotten who it is. So either I'm going to be embarrassed to say, oh my God, how are you doing? And in front of everybody, the God in the world. Or it's going to be like, after we talk a few minutes, who the hell are you? I don't even, I don't know you. You have no business contacting me and I am not interested. Thank you. And go away. But I assume that she may be in my circles, which means I circled her. And but she was not aware of the Smarties. So I think that she contacted me randomly. And what's interesting about that is, like, I don't know why people do that. What do they want from me, or what their incentive is? Some people are pure about it, and they're just wanting to connect and meet new people and say, geez, somebody talk to me, please. And yet other people are like, ha, I've got this plan, I'll hook somebody in and sell them this or that or this concept, or, I'll do something. So we'll see.
Okay, no problem. This is kind of like I'm back in high school improv again. It's like, okay, what are we doing?
Pretty much. It's fun because I've been in front of a microphone or camera for 3 decades, more than that actually. When I actually 4.5 decades, because the first time I was live in a band with a microphone, I was 15 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's impressive. And what's funny is this is actually less. It's hard to believe, but as much as I talk, I'm actually really shy. And I think that's why I usually don't stop talking, because it's like, well, if I just spout verbal diarrhea, maybe no one will realize that I'm sweating over here. But it's actually a little easier because I'm just sitting in front of my computer. I'm like, I can do this. I've got this.
Right.
And whenever people go, you're shy, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm terribly shy.
Well, you may never be able to prove that.
I know. People don't believe me. It's like I was the kid in high school that spent all her lunches in the library copying down quotes from books. That's what I know, right?
So although you were a little early and premature on trying to build relationships, what you were doing was you were gaining knowledge. You were gaining wisdom. Yes. And so that's coming to play today.
And I found out I'm afraid of sometimes talking to people, but apparently I'm good at it because I've had several waitressing jobs. And that pretty much is like constant pressure to walk up to strangers being like, hi, buy this. You know?
Yeah, yeah. I'm going to make a prediction, okay? I think that you're going to get hooked on Hangouts, and I think that you're going to become a show host, and I think you're going to become excellent at it to the point where you don't even consider it a show host job. You're just going to say, "No, I've got to gather with my friends this such and such day, and do it every week." And you're going to look forward to it, and it'll be fun. And you've got a lot of knowledge, and a lot of wisdom that you can share with people. And tell the world how old you are.
34.
Okay, so you're a reasonably young person. You're a young lady, and some people wouldn't call you that. But I mean, when talking to you and looking at you, they would think, "Well, what is this girl like in her early 20s or something?" And then as it gets deeper, and they start to get to know you more, they're going to realize, "Whoa, there's more to this person." And so that's what this hour is all about. Some folks come in and watch the Saturday morning show, Saturday morning Marketing Smarties. It's taken me 9 months to get used to calling it a show, because mostly when people say, "Oh, my show," there's this facade and ego thing happening, like, "Oh, it's my show."
This has been brought to you by Dasani, you know?
Yeah, and God knows that we would all like Dasani to be smart sponsoring us. Let's see, this lady that wants to meet me. I say this lady that wants to meet me. I should let the world know I am happily married and I have no intention to connect to anybody, especially live over the internet and chance getting hit on. I don't know why she would do this anyway, but once she figured out I was on wheels, she'd probably say, "Oh, well, I gotta go now." So who knows? She wants to know what country I'm from.
Man, there are so many things I could say, but being PG rated, I can't, so I'm just going to sit here.
I know, it's kind of like, let's watch ourselves. Um,
I had to pause you on the live feed because now I'm actually in the Hangout, so otherwise I was getting echo.
yeah, that's one of the.
Oh, just disclaimer, okay, I didn't know about this, and I just learned how to use Google Plus like a couple months ago, so everything he knows, I don't know, whoever you are. I don't know
Yeah,
this.
well, that's what it's all about. The more we get you involved in these things, you run into little issues, and then we correct them, and then they go away. And that's how most of the people are learning how to do this Hangout stuff. They go, "I'm here, but I don't know what I'm doing." They may not say that, but that's definitely what they're thinking. And they're in front of their cameras, and they're going, how do we get used to this?" And people have told me, um, you look so calm and relaxed, and it's no big deal. Well, to me, it's no big deal. I'm just talking to you like we're sitting around a campfire or gathering in my living room.
Mm-hmm.
But for other people, it's like, it's a show. It's a show. There's a camera on me. I'm live. What do I say? What do I do? How do I look? What are people thinking? Well, whatever. And I've done this enough times, and I haven't really lost too many people online, so I don't worry about it anymore. I do have the advantage that, as I said, I was 15 or 16 years old, learning how not to tremble with my voice in front of a microphone and try to sing a song.
Yeah, right?
So I kind of got over the fear factor at an early age. Well, not really. It lasted me for a few decades. When I got into a band in my 40s, and we had a band playing gigs, the first song always cracked, just completely choked me. And my voice would waver, and there's no power to it. You can't control your diaphragm and hold the notes. Okay, the lady that now is trying to meet me is from Belgium, and she lives in France. I wonder if she actually was realizing that I'm telling everyone in the world about her right now, that she's posting to me. whether she would post the things to me or whatever she intends to follow that with live. So you never know. This might encroach upon the non-speakable, depending upon what she posts to me. Those private chats are reasonably secure, but I don't really trust them. So I know that if someone's uh, sending me something, I got to watch my response, and I have to have full disclosure as we go, and I have to watch my P's and Q's. But that's easy enough. I don't have any real dastardly intentions.
Oh, speaking of which, Steven's going to be coming home in the next couple of weeks.
Oh,
So
really?
I am excited. I am done with this deployment, let me tell you.
So, since you bring it up, and since there's nobody else to wonder about it, let's discuss Stephen's deployment, and furthermore, let's tell the world who Stephen is and why this is concerning you.
Okay, well, I have been married to Stephen for several years. He's a staff sergeant in the United States Marine Corps out here in 29 Palms, and he's the ops chief and platoon sergeant right now. They've been going to Australia and Okinawa for training exercises. I can't give full detail, even though it's just a training exercise. I'm not supposed to disclose locations and times. But it's to work with the Marines out in Fuji and also the military out in Australia. And basically, I didn't know what he did for a long time because one time I had a picture and he looked like Winnie the Pooh holding a huge red balloon. But basically, that was to let the machine go up in the air, collect all the weather data, and then when it popped, it came down, they retrieved it. That was several years ago. Now they actually have better equipment. But he looked like Winnie the Pooh with a giant red balloon. But basically, they run the tent where they decide trajectory and geography and everything, where to point the 777 howitzers. And I'm just like, wow, okay, that's cool. But I've known my husband for over 20 years. We met 13 years old on a chat line on Sierra Online, basically talking about games. And we called each other one time to prove that we were actually a boy and a girl and not like some 40-year-old creepy people, And he rang up a very large, expensive phone bill because that was before they had unlimited long-distance calling. And his mom found out he ran up like a $200 phone bill calling me from Georgia. But
Wow.
we've known each other since 1994.
That is very cool.
Yeah.
And I still remember when you started leading Stephen's way. And it's like, once you started leading, that was it. And we thought, oh no, Trina's being swept off her feet by somebody else now. And she's looking at the East Coast and she's going to abandon the West Coast. And my God, the family's going to move to someplace, along the Eastern coastline. And so, I wondered what was going to happen. And it was very interesting. It's just like you hooked up with a great guy and build a great foundation for a great relationship, and you guys are doing it. So I'm really proud of you.
He is really, he's not like the poster child of Marines where you think of like big, stupid, bullheaded. He is a very intelligent man, and he's also one of the kindest, most honest, honorable people I know. And
I tell you what,
it's
you know how I know that without you telling me? Because I know you. And so for him to be able to put up with you, for him to understand you and to get along congenial with you and to be happy, he's got to be the things you just said. Now,
or he has to be like committable.
yeah, that's a possibility. I hadn't considered that. By the way, I'm trying to invite people in.
Okay.
I want to acknowledge the people who are gathering. There are apparently 8 people potentially. Well, 7 people because I'm one of the 8. But if anyone, Andrew Hatchett, Bill Graham, Michael Thomas, Lowell Ann, if any of you would like to join us in the green room and join the conversation, I'd love to have you in, and I'll be glad to post a link to the people here. I may actually make the link open to everybody in a moment and just see who drops in. But I want to make sure that the early birds who want to be in get in and don't have to work with Well, assuming that we may have a crowd, which I doubt, but we're 11 minutes into a casual coffee break for Saturday morning marketing Smarties, and a few people may be disappointed, saying, "Oh, well, my God, this guy didn't do anything. He didn't do an opening monologue. He didn't introduce a subject." Well, I told you that was an open house, and that's what was going on today. No subject, no agenda. So I see that Johan Clay's here, and I'd love to have him in the green room. So, uh, people, if you would just let me know, and I'm trying to monitor the flow of chat comments. I'm not expecting a big dialogue today, but when everyone is in there and having fun and chatting with your peers, then I'm happy today. Let's see what people are saying. By the way, are you following the dialogue too?
I just looked at it and I was like, oh, wow. Hi, Michael.
Roland says, Roland, it seems that some people think of G Plus as a dating service. I get those things too. Thinking about how to prevent that. Ideas? Yeah, there's no way to eliminate it completely because people are going to hit on you, Roland. But, what you do is you have to strike a line through. You have to, block them. And I block about a dozen people a week at this. Not a dozen people, about a half a dozen people a week, because I'm getting outreach from people that have 1,000 views, 5 friends, and they have no profile whatsoever. It's like, you're gone.
Yeah, it's like some of those 1-900 services.
Not even that. This is a I'm by myself service. And so we don't want to go there. So the people here, they're lurking, but I don't know that anyone has asked to be in the green room. And I want to make it clear that for everyone that's watching right now, if you are watching and it looks like you are making comments, if you would like to join us in the green room and chat with Trinette and myself, I will invite you in right now. But I have to know that you want to be here. And then once we have a few people in, I might just open it up so I don't have to manage that anymore. Andrew Hatchett says, HOAs are more addictive than any known drug. Oh, I'm sorry, Bill. Bill's trying to get in, and I'm apparently sending him the wrong link.
I think you're doing it subconsciously on purpose.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to speak with you and still control the environment.
Well, like I said, I can entertain myself. It's okay. Go ahead and do that part, and I'll just behave and sit here nicely. Or, in response to the whole dating, people trying to use it as a dating, I found a really effective way to get people to not send me any more stuff, as I just send them this picture of my face. And they don't want to talk to me anymore because oh, you're hot, and it's like, I'm married. They're like, me too. And so I just send them a horrible face or just ooh, and they don't want to talk to me anymore. Hi, Bill.
Hello,
Morning.
Bill. How you
Good
doing,
morning.
man?
Morning. How is everyone?
Oh, very good.
Thank you.
So,
I was just hearing you guys talking. I'm glad it's been about 14 years since I've been a weird 40-year-old.
I don't even want to talk about it. 2 decades more have gone past since I've been across that line. So, but you know what? I don't feel like I'm going to turn 62 in a couple of weeks, and I don't feel 62. I probably look it, but I don't feel it.
Our family never looks our age. What are you talking about? We're fabulous.
You don't look a day over 70, Roland.
Well, that's a good thing. I'm lucky that I don't look a 70. Yeah, that's good.
I'm just kidding. I didn't recognize you for a second because it's been weeks since I saw you.
I know, and I really did you a bad turn. I mean, I've been so busy, I haven't been able to visit with you. And the same goes for Barbara Quick. I haven't had much time to visit with her, so she finally asked me today, hey, when are we going to chat? And so either later today or sometime tomorrow, I'm planning on meeting with Barbara Quick, who is one of my earliest connections in Google Hangouts. So I want to maintain that relationship too. Now, we have the glorious 7 or 8 people who have connected with us today, and I'm hoping that people will let me know vividly in the chat stream that yes, let me into the green room, and we will try to do that. So I'm just apologizing to you in advance that I'm not real efficient today, and this is not a normal hangout, but we're just here having fun.
It's okay, you guys. Come on in. I have no idea what I'm doing. None.
You're doing good.
Oh, thank you.
Sounding good, looking good. So
the comment from Lowell Ann regarding the people that I block, really that many per week? I think so. I think that whatever circuit that I'm tapped into, and I'm sorry the light is hitting my glasses up on top, and during this time of year it always kind of spoils the overall camera view. Not that there's much to spoil anyway, but I kind of look like I've got tiger claw marks across my face or something. So anyway, Lowell Ann was asking how many per week I block. I do get a dozen or so invitations to circle, or people circle me, so they expect you to circle them back. And I see who has circled me, and several people who I want to add to circles, obviously. And I'm very honored that they're there. Then I look at these other people, it's like, who the hell are these people? I mean, did we meet someplace? Did they hear my name? And then, of course, what you do is you take a look through and see who they know. There's no intersection, so there's no possibility that anybody referred or even spoke the name Roland. And then it's like, okay, well then why did they circle you? Why did they circle me? And it's like, I can't explain it. No way, I'm cutting this off. Or maybe, depending upon how they look, if they look like a decent person, I might say, well, I will maybe circle them for now and keep an eye on them. Or I think I'll do nothing and then hope that they either go away or start speaking to me. So, I'm not abject to meeting someone new at all. But
What is their ulterior motive?
yeah, just talk to me. So I met someone like that about 3 months ago, and this is a horrible testimony to the armed services. This is a contradictory clause compared to your hubby, Trinette. But some guy contacted me and he goes, "Yeah, I'm a sergeant general or major general in the USA Reserve Army in Afghanistan." I'm going, wow, how cool. I'm talking to this major league guy, right? And in Afghanistan, I'm on the front line, tapped into someone who's over there. And in the end result, he turned out he could have been some guy sitting in his living room in South Florida and just sending me this note, imposter note about him being a sergeant major or a major general in the Army.
Mm-hmm.
Because after about 2 days, 3 days of interchanges, and I was going, oh wow, this guy's really dealing with it in Afghanistan. He had me sucked in pretty good. And then he starts, I don't know what to do about this. I've got a problem and I need to confide in someone, my friend. And I'm going, I feel it coming. And then of course we talked further, and it turns out that he's trying to get my information so he can send me a vast amount of money that he doesn't know what to do with. And gee, what am I going to do with this thing? I've got to find a way to filter it, siphon it, hide it. I can't speak of it. What do you mean you can't speak of it? You're a major general in the goddamn Army, and you don't have some huge committee of people that you have to answer to, otherwise you get thrown in jail for the rest of your life? Come on.
Yeah.
And so I just...
That's, illegal money anyway.
And so finally I said, oh man, nice try, asshole. And I set him on his way. So Anyway, we still have Roland, Andrew. He might join later. Oh, maybe Roland would like to come in. All I see is a sure. So
Yeah.
I don't know what that is
I
in
think that was
reference to.
in response to you asking people to let you know.
I think so. So I'm going to send Roland an invitation, and hence, if she joins us, then great.
Very cool.
So Roland now has an invitation, and I'm not being overly selective. Anybody that's in the chat stream,
Bar is low, people. Just come on in.
Yeah.
yeah, the
Don't be
bars.
offended, Trinette. I'm not.
Okay, Richard Clarkson is out there now. Love to have you in the green room. And after a while, I won't be able to even conduct the conversation, so I'll have to turn it over to Trinette and Bill to manage the conversation as I just watch who's coming and going. But I'm having fun, so if you guys are having fun, that's great.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Richard Clarkson, Roland, Michael Thomas, any of you guys are welcome in the green room. John Clays. You know, that's the oddest spelling of the name or of the name. It's not John. It's Johann.
Johan.
And usually when I try to plus name Johann, I always call him John because it looks so close. It's like people calling me Ronald. And by the way, I hate that. I don't have so much against the name, but it's not mine. It's
I
not
don't
my
want to
name.
hear it, okay? Look at my name. I will never find my name on a keychain. Ever. That's kind of why I got married, so I'd have something with my name written right on it, and they misspelled it twice.
Yeah, I believe it.
That's why I named my daughter Samantha, regular spelling, so when she goes on a field trip, she could buy a coffee mug or something. That was the worst thing. It's like everyone else got like little keychains. I had like a T.
Well, you can get
Right.
the little necklaces that you put the blocks on yourself.
Yeah, but I've been doing it myself. I went to Vegas once. I'm looking for the little shot glasses, something to prove I was in Vegas, and I'm like, Tina, no. Trisha, no. Really, Trisha? But no Trinette, And then
Yeah.
Steven, his name is easy. I mean, it's with a V. He's got it, and I'm like, no fair.
So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to take everybody that I can find in the chat stream and go ahead and then send them an invitation.
Molly's on.
Oh, wow. One of my regulars. Is Molly joining us, or is she just in the chat stream?
It says she's watching.
Okay, that's cool.
Sorry, Molly, I outed you. I'm sorry.
Okay, we're going to invite Johan in.
Do it. I'm all excited now.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna have to run the conversation.
Oh, that's fine. And this is easy. This is not like a cocktail party where it's like, oh, wow, who's the captain's wife, That's always very, very scary.
Good morning, Roland.
Good morning.
Hello. How you doing? Is that Johan?
No, that's Lolan. There's Johan.
Okay, we're gonna invite Johan in.
Johan's here as well.
Oh, okay. Someone's got their broadcast going live and feeding back into the microphone. So yeah, well, everyone might run the conversation.
Oh, that's fine. And this is easy. This is not like a cocktail party where it's like, oh, wow, who's the captain's wife? You can shoot the feedback. That's always
Yeah.
very scary.
I think
Hi,
that's-
Johan.
Morning, Roland.
So,
Hello.
Good morning.
Good evening.
is that Johan?
That's me.
No, that's Lolan. There's Johan.
Okay, we're gonna invite Johan in. Okay, everyone's got to turn their speakers off and take the headsets to themselves. Otherwise, it'll be a little bit of a problem. I see Lolan. How you doing? Oh, she's muted herself at the moment. But maybe she might be dealing with possibly a bandwidth problem or something.
Uh-oh.
No,
I
she's just
see you
muted.
moving, Roland.
I see movement.
So it could be a bandwidth issue. You might want to try lowering your bandwidth a quarter. But anyway, let me get around back to here to sending out a few more invitations, and then I'll just kick back, and then people will have to really ring my bell to get my attention if they want to join us in the green room.
You're not blabbing today, Johan.
No, for once not. Do you hear
Yeah.
me? Because do you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we hear
Okay,
you.
great. No, for once not. So I'm not always blabbing. I'm following more, and I try to do one per week. So very modest.
Yeah, I saw you yesterday afternoon, and I was going to join in, but then the conversation went to Belgium, so I figured I better,
Yeah,
I
I
better
was.
try and avoid that.
Yeah, we're talking in Dutch, in fact, with two other Belgian people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great to meet their Belgians because yeah, we don't see a lot of hangouts on Google Plus with Belgian or Dutch hangouts. They are more rare. So
Is that because of internet, or just people aren't familiar with Hangouts?
well, I think more the second. People are not very familiar with Hangouts here in Belgium. They are also not so presented on Google Plus as well, so they're more on Facebook and all the other social platforms.
Yeah.
They tend more to communicate with with family and yeah, friends there.
Yeah.
And we all know that Google Plus is different. In this, it's special. I
Yeah.
find
Well,
it.
I was hearing what you were saying about Google yesterday, and it's all very true about actually learning more. You were saying how you've learned so much more on Google Plus than any of the other mediums. So.
Yeah, it's correct. Even through the show from Roland Takaoka.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also the communities. So
That's right.
when you go to the Crowdcast community, or there's now a new community about video. Well, it's great that you can keep up because we need to keep up with the pace. The technology is so how do you see it? So speedy. There's so much new technology, and hard to keep up sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
So wait a minute, just a second. Did you say that you actually learned something from the Saturday morning Marketing Smarties show?
Yeah, of course.
That's good. I'm
And
I'm
it doesn't always has to be content. Also people. I learned new people. I learned new specialties. So no, it's great because and that's something that you will see with Blab as well. You can quickly see who does what on Blab as well by checking out their Twitter or their Blab profile.
Yeah.
And the same for Google Plus.
So here's a question for everyone in the green room, and definitely if you have something that you've been wanting to say and want to ask the people here, or just express yourself, whatever, you raise your hand and flap your hands wildly, and we'll say, okay, let's bring this conversation to a stop and let someone else speak. And so that's what I'm doing now. I want to know among the people, you know, it seems to me that we all get into the hangout scene for some personal ulterior motive. Now, we might not be honest up front about this to everybody, but we have the secret desire or thing that we want to accomplish in our lives. But we get into Hangouts thinking, well, for the meantime, I can do this in Hangouts and build this and that, but it's not necessarily what our heart desires to do ultimately. But it is what we settle on doing while we're quietly nurturing this other thought in the back of our minds. So is anyone in the Hangout scene holding back from your actual innermost heart's desire that you want to deliver to Hangouts, or is Hangouts just an exploratory thing helping you expand your life?
Why don't you just say my name and get it over with?
No, No, I'm thinking that you're not the only one. I think that it probably applies to every one of us.
Roland, I could say why I participate, and I've been participating for maybe a year and a half, and I found myself lurking for a long time as a way to learn how all of this works,
Right,
and
right.
and so I do coaching for solo entrepreneurs, and I now run a regular weekly session, but I call it a success circle, where I bring people in to have conversations like this all the time. So I think that lots of times we come into all of these um, things as a way to learn how it all works, and also to get to know people and to watch and learn something about the whole etiquette of the whole process.
Yeah, that's good. Um, Luckily, I wasn't so dastardly to be upsetting to the communities, but the whole thing about etiquette, as you just said, is vastly important. And
Mhm.
what it ends up doing, I think. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm distracting myself because I got these lines across my face. Let me see if I can position myself a little better. Um,
There you
the
go.
th the thing about the personalities online is that the true colors of the people eventually come out. I don't care what you're doing, what your intentions are. It's like if you stay online regularly once a week or however often you do it, your true colors are going to show through,
Mhm. Mhm.
and it's impossible to hide them. So what happens is people come on board thinking, "Here's what I'm going to do. We're joined by Molly, one of my regular co-hosts, and thank you for joining us, Molly. Glad to have you here." I'm sorry, I didn't give you guys my regular green room clan much of an advantage to join me today. I didn't set it up so that I didn't want to impose upon you to come to the hangout on this Saturday without officially scheduling you. But I'm glad you're here. So, hi Molly, how you doing?
Hey everyone, thanks for the invite.
Yeah, we're involved in a really kind of a deep thing conversation regarding people's intentions when they start learning Hangouts. And you, for one, started about somewhere about the same time that I did, and we just kind of grew together and apart and separate and contributed to what we were doing. But my question for people was, as you're getting into Hangouts, are you silently harboring an innermost desire that will eventually come out in Hangouts, like when after you make your $1 million and you don't have to worry about your income anymore, what would you actually take Hangouts and do? That's my question. And anybody can speak up, and we don't have to worry about so much about etiquette right now.
Yeah, I mean, I just share with everyone my experience why I started doing Hangouts. I'm in the Google Partners community. They promoted me to an ambassador, and they sent me this really neat video kit. And one of my requirements is I have to do a quarterly Hangout about, AdWords or analytics or SEO or social media,
Oh
whatever
my
subject I
God!
choose.
Once every 3 months?
Yeah.
Holy crap! That's expecting so much out of you. I don't.
Well, they actually have this thing now called Ask an Ambassador, and I'm up in a couple weeks, and ironically, I'm going to be talking about Hangouts and video marketing. So, which is like a way off subject for them because they're more into AdWords and analytics and SEO and that type of thing, and they don't really use a lot of Hangouts aside from the live stream cast they do from the Googleplex. But I can say for myself, I've gotten so used to doing Hangouts that I've actually started advising my clients. I'm like, listen, I'm finding customers using Hangouts. I'm getting leads from doing Hangouts. And as of recently, and I mean like literally like last week, I had a client go, hey, we have all this video equipment, but we don't know how to do Hangouts. Can you teach us how to do them? And I'm like, oh yeah, I can definitely help you out with that. So
First of all, take all this crap and stick it in your closet. Get an inexpensive webcam. Get your Jones on and bring it to the camera and have fun. I love it. I mean, it was such a cheap thing to get into Hangouts. I've literally got a camera that I bought for $7.95 plus shipping from China. I waited about 2 or 3 weeks for it, But when I finally got it, it's like, dang, this thing works pretty well. I mean, I don't have a lot of features, but the camera reproduction is pretty decent, so I don't worry about it. And then this headset, this magnificent headset that I've got, this H110, what is it? Tell me what it is. Somebody look and tell me.
A Logitech.
Yeah, it's a Logitech, and I think I bought them for $10 or $11. So I bought an extra one because when this one goes out, I'm going to use the same thing again. And it's got a decent microphone, decent headset, and it's really all I need. So you tell me, well, gee, it's kind of costly. I don't have this and I don't have that. You probably do and don't realize it because you can start off with practically nothing. And the upgrade can be very, very minor and get you into the thick of it so you can compete and control what your outreach is without having to worry so much about an investment. It's not about the investment, it's about who you are. So anyway, I'm having fun with it, and that's pretty much how I got started in Hangouts. So let's hear about other people's history. Um, Molly and I both got started about October, November of last year, and that was the first time we were all doing it. She got into a Hangout and she had Ronnie Binzer and Zara Altair in the same Hangout. The first out the gate, she had these two people, and you looked like a deer in the headlights, Molly. It's like, hi everybody, blah 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 blah. And you were looking at the camera and you looked petrified.
I was.
I bet you were. But you're so much, we've all probably transformed since then. But that was a neat experience, and it got me started right away. And I started having these kind of hangouts, these open houses every Saturday. And then lo and behold, I guess I sent you an invitation, and then you showed up, and I go, oh my God, that's Molly, And I said, well, we got to have her in, and so we had you join us. And that was the start of something pretty cool, because lo and behold, you're part of the weekly Saturday morning Marketing Smarties, and who would have known? Who would have known? When we talk about the concept of the law of attraction, by the way, which is something that I desire to speak of secretly in the background, I'm announcing it now formally. I know that eventually all the marketing stuff is going to go away, and I'll be talking about life. And I will be talking about the law of attraction and spirituality and some other things. And the funny thing is, I don't think that ultimately we can separate those things, the spirituality and all that stuff. I don't think that we can separate it from everything else we do. So ultimately, when I talk about marketing and internet stuff, I can't separate from that. It's got to be the authentic me. And I believe, too, it's got to be the authentic you. If you're going to be marketing online, it's got to come from the heart, and it's got to come from the spirit. And if it does, you've got a chance to make it online. If it does not, you're battling the hard fight.
Well, it's got to be a passion. Otherwise, it's going to be a very hard thing to maintain and continually find content to supply, right?
Sure. Well, it's the difference between a job of passion and just a job of jobs. We can all do something that we have to make money.
A job of passion is not work at all, right?
Right. But interesting, most people have trouble analyzing that and saying, well, my job of passion is not going to pay me a cent. How am I going to make any money at that? And, this might be a harsh declaration, but I think that I don't care what it is. If you love it, if you keep at it and do it and you share it and help people with it, you're going to make money at it somehow. and the universe is going to sustain you. And now, maybe that's like, ooh, that's too etheric for me, bro. Ooh, that's a little bit too spiritual. And
Yeah.
I know what goes around comes around. Well, guess what? It does.
But
And
that
that's
might
the
be the
way.
question people have to ask themselves, right? Like, if I had $1 million and I didn't have to work and I didn't have to worry about anything, what would I do?
Yeah, but that's the
And
cart before the horse. That's the total cart before the horse. It's what everybody asks. I've asked it myself. It's like, what am I going to do when I don't have to worry about money? And
yeah, but I think if you do what you're passionate about, it will eventually bring you money.
it will. It absolutely will. And that's where the element of faith comes in. In the Christian philosophies and many philosophies, they say, well, you've got to have faith. That
Yeah,
movie, You Gotta Have Heart.
yeah.
They sing a song uh, that talks about reaching inside. And if you do that, you find the discoveries of life that will sustain us. And these are all connected to that whole concept of the universal and God and stuff. Everybody looks at it differently, but guess what? That's exactly how the universe is designed.
Well, and
From
I
But
think
But Roland, I think there's one more piece there. I mean, we if we're doing what we love or what we have a passion for, and we keep on doing it, I think that's absolutely true. But there's one more thing, and that is we have to be open to and being able to so that we can see the potential as they arise and be ready to grasp them and move in that direction. I
I
think
think
so critical to be open to seeing those opportunities as they arise and moving on them.
well, and not just us, but I think the people around us. I mean,
Yeah.
the question of what would I do for the rest of my life has to be something you ask yourself at a very young age and nurture that. And so we live in a society where our parents don't want us to become musicians. They want us to be doctors or lawyers, or they don't want us to become artists because we're going to starve to death. They'd rather us become doctor or lawyers again.
Mhm.
So it's not until we're into our 40s and 50s, sometimes 60s, that we actually start asking ourselves, what's my passion?
well, I think that your point is well taken, Lolan. However, my view is a little different from it. The question of how to be practical about our exploits and being open to opportunity and looking for the secret piece to our puzzle, so to speak, I think comes from a built-in, well nurtured characteristic of fear from our environment and from the people around us. We're taught that, by golly, you better be careful or you're going to trip on the next trip obstacle or fall down the stairs or uh, careen down from tall heights. We're taught to be that life is dangerous and that we can be hurt by life, and that we're taught to be victims. So what happens is, instead of being creative and outreaching and completely on the positive outreach side and the output side and expression side, we are retarding ourselves back and tend to be clipped. And so what happens is our energy that we're pouring out into the universe is retarded, and it's not all of what we have to offer. So if we had all we had to offer, what would our results be from the universe? And sometimes when the doubt goes away and when the fear is non-existent or less existent, our results in life can be better. And so the opportunities definitely show themselves. But if we produce ourselves or position ourselves so, gee, I've got to find the opportunity. I'm I'm struggling with this. I need a break. Something's got to happen. Somebody throw me a bone. If we're positioning ourselves like that, what's happening is actually we're generating a negative vibration of fear and doubt and hesitation to the universe. And when that happens, guess what? Then what goes around comes around. And what energy are we putting out? Doubt, fear, some little bit of anger,
Mhm.
and all those things. And that's what we get back. I mean, literally, it's a polarity issue. what makes you feel good, and if you're putting it out there, in other words, your passion, the work that you love, the things that you love, if you're putting that out there, that is what's going to come back. And it sounds like it can't be that simple. Life is way too tough for that to work, but guess what? I believe that it is. And so it's a polarity issue, and people have to get used to not holding on, retarding themselves, and being doubtful. And when they go for it, when they finally say, by golly, I'm just going to go for it, I'm going to pull all stops and I'm going to do this, guess what? They get different results. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, but they get different results. And what they end up at the end of their lives, they're sitting in the chair, wow, gee, I guess if I'd never taken this chance back when I was 35 or 55 or whenever it was, I never would have succeeded in knowing what I do now. And it's almost never, gee, this is how much money I've got and this is what my empire looks like. It's always, this is what I'm thinking now as a result of what I did back then. So it ends up being a journey of non-money eventually, but the money takes care of itself if we let it.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. You remind me of when my grandmother, your mother, would say two things that stuck in my head. One is, we can't question why bad things happen to us unless we also question why good things happen to us. And the thing is that she said, I'm sure you remember, is we create our own reality. And from a personal experience, the more you encumber yourself with the rules, and this is how it's always been done, this is tradition, you always have to do that. I'm not speaking against tradition, but the more you limit and hem yourself in, you're actually giving yourself permission to fail due to someone else's impositions. So thinking outside the box sometimes is really terrifying, and I understand that. It's absolutely horrifying. It's like, okay, this is new territory, you take a step, but if I never took that step, my daughter still wouldn't be speaking. She has autism, and the doctors originally said, okay, well, you know what, you can put her in an institution, you can not feed her until she asks for it, and it's just like, really? You want me to starve my kid? So we had to get really creative with that, and books are great, but it doesn't give you every scenario for every autistic child. But that was something that, my husband and I have had to get extremely creative and sarcastic and, lose our minds and rip our hair out, just, trying to get her to function within an everyday normal life. But that's better than just sitting back and going, okay, just sit in a room and here's your food and here's your table and there you go.
Jeanette, you are an example of having one of the most challenging situations that any family can come across. You as a daughter, you as a double daughter, your mom and your grandmother above you, triple daughter, and they're all concerned, like, how do we help Jeanette deal with her child? And it's the most extensive education that you have had in life that any of us could experience. And now if you turn it around and if you expressed yourself as far as what you actually know from this journey that you've had with your daughter, you are worth a very lot. And you might be the youngest person here, but I think that your message is probably greater than all of us. So that's why I've been trying to get you into Hangouts.
Oh, I know.
And you're a good case of this. I'm trying to talk you into how to sell origami earrings online to sustain you, so that you can go on to your greater exploits. But the origami sales, or the teaching of origami and the showing of what you do, by the way, people, she makes these earrings that are outrageous. I don't know how she makes an origami thing this small that you could tag lightly to a hook and put it on your ear if you got pierced ears, but she does this, and they're beautiful.
Smaller now. They're about the size of 2 grains of rice, and you put them in a bottle.
I can't even believe that. So with a Hangout, can you imagine having a rig set up so that you can magnify the vision up on screen and show people how to do that? They're going to go, oh my God, I could never do this. And then, of course, because they can't, they have to buy your product because they want it.
That's putting them in a lose-lose situation. Then you make them feel bad, and then you guilt them into buying a product.
No. It's about educating the people about what you do that is worth having. And when you do that, people are going to say, "Oh my God, I got to get a pair of these." And then also, if you geared it for like 10% of all proceeds go to the Autistic blah 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 Foundation, then you're supporting your nonprofit and doing it by
Oh,
teaching people what you're doing and being like a benevolent outreach. Then it ends up making everybody money. You and because you have to be sustained too. So it makes you money, supports your organization and the subject, and makes more people aware about autism. And on top of that, makes more people aware about their own creativity and the product that you produce. So there's a lot of good that comes off of this, but this is only going to springboard you onto the next thing. So marketing 101 from the standpoint of, gee, I like to play with origami. Anything?
I would watch a hangout any day about how to do that. I think it sounds fascinating.
I know, and there's got to be a million subjects just like this that people all over the world is like, oh, gee, I do this, and the millions of people around the world will look at whatever this is and say, oh my God, do that again, show me again. I want to see that. I want to talk to you. I want to learn what it is that motivated you to start doing that in the first place, and it becomes a conversation that expands into something. This is what the magic of Hangouts is, and why I got so intrigued by Hangouts, because we can share information and teach people things, and guess what? Then they end up knowing what you do, how good you are at it, what your attitude is, and they end up getting to what we call the ZMOT, or the zero moment of truth, knowing that they need services that you provide, and going, wow, I like Roland. I guess I just got to call him up and ask him how much he charges to do blah. And that's exactly how everybody can do it. So it doesn't matter what you do, or anything really. It matters whether it's something that people will pay for. Well, then start the Hangouts. And then when you start explaining to people and teaching people and sharing with people and giving through love, then it's going to come back to you, because people are going to want your product. And that sounds like a really narrow-minded monetization thing, but I'm just talking about the truth of what's going on. And with the Saturday morning marketing Smarties, I made it a rule: we're not allowed to pitch. I think that we did one show where we talked about what we did and what we offered to the people, but basically we have avoided that. We talk about the subject of internet marketing and show people what we think, what we do, uh, through osmosis. I mean, we're educating the people, and they find out more about us. So, I hope that it's brought all three of my other uh, co-hosts in the show. I hope it's bringing them some notoriety, some authority, and some business. I hope it's putting money in their pockets. With me not pitching once, I have not pitched once for Saturday Morning Marketing Smarties and R&D Hotline. I'm getting business from that. I, osmosis. It's basically a spiritual building of giving from yourself. So whatever you're doing, I don't care if it's origami earrings. If we put it out there and teach people, you're going to make money at it, but it's only going to be a stepping stone into the higher piece. And Molly, go ahead and speak that what you're getting, because I can't possibly read your messages and convey effectively. So go ahead and tell us what you're thinking.
Sure. I just wanted to add to the conversation earlier about just getting out there and telling people who you are and what you do. It's really about creating a legacy about who you are and how do you want people to remember you, And I can say for myself, I am just now starting to get a lot of business in terms of people contacting me from Google Partners, or they're contacting me from Google Plus. And I always ask people when they call the first time, I said, well, how did you hear about me? And it's, oh, I saw you on Google Plus, or I saw you on Google Partners Community, or I saw you on Roland's show. I actually did a show, it's about a month ago, about Google nonprofits, AdWords ad grants, where if a nonprofit has a 501c3 tax status, they qualify for $10,000 worth of free AdWords every month. And I had a gentleman, see the show, and he contacted me. He's like, oh, I sell merchant accounts, but I need somebody who builds websites, because I don't build websites. And so now we partner together, and whenever he sells a merchant account, he goes, do you need a website? And if they do, they contact me. So, and I vice versa, if they need a merchant account and they come to me for a website, I'll refer them to him. So it's worked out pretty well.
Yeah, and how many relationships like that guy do you need to be busy as hell?
Not many.
Yeah, I mean, if you had 3 people that were dealing you with an account a month, you'd probably have your hands full. Um, by the way, Chili Beans joined us. Dr. Margaret is out there. Christopher Howes is out there, and Jim Sharp is out there. And I'll give you any of you a link to the green room if you like, and you could join us now because we are 6 people and we have room for 3 more or 4 more. And I know that they'll get.
I need to pop out, Roland. I need to pop out. I need to leave you.
Oh, was there anything that you want to share before you leave? I hate to kick you out before you've had a chance to speak.
Thank you.
You have the floor, Johan.
Excuse me?
You have the floor, Johan.
Yes, I know. I can opt out then. Or you see, I have not done many hangouts.
Well, the odd thing is with what you have to deliver, you're one of the people on my very, very short checklist that I want to have in Hangout. And I picture you being on the Saturday Morning Marketing Smarties show sometime. And so we need to talk about that. I just haven't had a chance to tell you that. But that's what's been on my mind. And I know that it's evening for you, right? You're on the other side of the globe from us. Where are you coming from?
I'm from Brussels, so Belgium, so it's the other side of the world.
Pretty much.
I guess you're. Where are you located now? If I'm
in Southern California.
Well, that's that's 9 hours. I think that's a lot. Huh?
So it's late morning for me, and it's mid to late evening for you. Yeah. But this Hangout series is proof that it doesn't take a time zone to make or break a presentation. When we do our Saturday Morning Marketing Smarties, we are spread all over the nation, the East Coast to West Coast, and some people have co-hosts that are literally on the opposite side of the globe. So somebody's in the middle of the night, somebody's in the morning, or whatever it is, but they make it work. And so anything is possible if we want to do it. And that's part of the magic of what we do. I think it's grand that we are all
you get also
live.
the replays. You got also the replays, of course, but it's hard to watch the replays. I got to admit, I try to watch them, but sometimes because it's not fresh anymore. It's weird that I have to say that like that, but when the live experience is really, that's still that's an awesome source. Huh? You're there, you're in the moment, and you can immediately interact or takeaways. You get everything on hand, but you miss that experience when you rewatch afterwards. But nevertheless,
let's face it, it's just dang exciting. It's exciting to be there, and so it captures a part of you that does not get to have that experience when you watch a replay. So we're glad. I'm really glad that you joined us live today.
Thank you. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to follow the discussion, but okay, I like it. So
good.
And I learn a lot. So
yeah, there's a lot to learn. That's for sure.
Okay, I really need to leave. I thank you very much, and I hope to see you next week, Roland. Are you picking up the shows again, or?
Yes, my plan is September 5th. We'll be back on live.
Okay, that's great. Or perhaps if you do a blab, we will see you there as well. Perhaps I've seen today some people. There are some Google Pluses who are also there, joining and looking and just having an idea about what the platform can offer. In fact, it's all fresh. So yeah.
I like the idea of Blab as a precursor to the Hangout show. I don't think I'm ever going to use it as a primary broadcast thing, but it's great for conversation building.
I think it's if you compare with Hangouts, it's more a networking tool, really a connection
Right.
tool. And since it's with open seats, there is a carousel, so people pop in, pop out, pop in, pop out, and in the meanwhile they connect. So and that's something which is interesting. And I think also what is also interesting in the platform, I guess, because I'm not too much experienced with the platform, is what I see, for example, people doing a hangout on Google Plus, and they do an after discussion on Blab. So a kind of quick Q&A. So, you know, that's something that I saw. So Steve Dotto did that. So he did a regular hangout on Google Plus, and then afterwards he said, "Okay, we're doing a Q&A. Well, come over to Blab. You put the link, and then you got the after discussion."
So a real quick question for you. What differentiates Blab from what we are doing in the Hangout right now? Because, it's like we're having a Blab session with 6 people, and
Right.
Blab is only able to have 4 people. So what is the
Right.
advantage of Blab over Hangouts?
I think first, what intrigues me more, what I like very much in Blab is the fact that you see 4 people simultaneously. So in a Hangout, you have always someone who takes the full screen. And okay, we see, of course, in the banner with the thumbs, but you're not actually looking at the people. And when you're in a Blab, you're really looking at the 4 people simultaneously. So you see the interaction immediately, and that's something that I like. There's not someone who takes the lead. That's something which you have here in Hangouts. That's the impression I have. There's someone who is on the stand and he talks, and okay, when there's someone else, okay, he takes a stand and he goes. You see what I mean? It's
Absolutely.
kind of
So
and
inevitably, it kind of like levels the playing field for all the people involved, and maybe all the ego opportunities are kind of like dampened a bit, so that that doesn't play as big a part. And what happens is everyone feels fair and fair treatment, and nobody is over them or controlling the situation. Because
right,
I
right.
definitely feel like Hangouts need to be controlled to a certain extent just to be fluent, just to be effective. There's a control factor. But I never plan on dominating the conversation uh, for my sake, but trying to give everybody a fair voice.
Yeah,
And
but that's correct what you say, and you do that also in your shows. But it's the experience. You see,
right,
it's a kind. You see someone stepping up and then someone stepping down. So that's the experience that you have in Hangouts. But for me, Hangouts for training purposes and for really bringing the message is still a very interesting technology. But for connecting, well, there I think Blab has really, it has really is found its niche really, and it will fit nicely. And I've even put up a crowdcast, and I embedded a recorded Blab. Because what I like about Blab is the fact that you can, in fact, it's great for testimonial building. So when you have someone who comes into Blab and talks about an experience, okay, you can also record that, and you can put it in your crowdcast along with your recorded Hangouts, for example. So it doesn't need to be. It's not a competitor to Hangouts. I think they're more complementary, like Crowdcast as well. People say, okay, you got the experience of Blab and you got the experience of Crowdcast. Well, they're very complementary, because you could actually record the Blab and put it in your Crowdcast along with your recorded Hangouts. You see, so okay,
I
it's
tell you
another
what,
live stream platform.
you have to keep experimenting with this, and we have to talk about it because I love to know more about how we can incorporate these things to be stronger leveraging tools. Not to complicate what I'm trying to do here, but to make it more effective. That's a great idea. So thank you for sharing that about Blab. I'm
Yeah.
on the very fringe of experimenting with it
You
myself.
have to you have to experience really to have an impression. You have a Twitter account. I'm sure you have a Twitter account. So just blab.im and you're in it. So and you can select and pick a topic which you like and just watch and you will see. You can experience and you can compare effect because.
I can just barely say that I have a Twitter account. I probably am the weakest tweeter among us.
Yeah, but that's correct what you say, and for me as well. I'm not a huge Twitter, but I tweeted well sometimes. But now with that Blab thing, you have a blue button and you can tweet it out the show. So it's you tweet more, in fact. But okay, you have to experience. I would
Yeah.
like to thank everybody for joining here, and Bill Lowell, Molly, great to see you, Roland, Trinette. I wish you all a good evening. For me, it's evening.
Thanks, Johan. You have a great evening.
Bye.
Good night. Good night, Johan.
Good night.
Okay, well that was worth the hangout. Just getting a little bit of a testimonial on Blab because I've been thinking about checking it out, but I haven't even had time yet.
I'm super excited about Blab myself.
So how do you see yourself using it?
Well, initially I started looking at it because, as you know, one of my main problems here in Belize is bandwidth, and unfortunately I don't see it replacing HOAs at all. I mean, they're two totally different mediums, and Blab, you have to have a Twitter account, so right away you're looking at a different type of audience as well. And as I was saying to somebody yesterday, whenever somebody comes into a Blab, you can hit the little tweet button, and it tweets your Blab out to all of their followers. Now, if you were to do that in a Google Plus HOA, you'd be considered pretty spammy, I think. So I think it's a great medium for finding followers who are like-minded, but I don't think it'll ever replace HOAs. I could see it being used, like Johan said, to complement your HOA, where you could bring group discussions together more easily after an HOA or prior to whatever. But
That makes sense. I look at it as an auxiliary. So far, with Crowdcast coming in, with the business hangouts and so forth, I'm not inclined to move from hangouts, but as long as we can be effective with it and build our communities, I'm happy. But I'm just looking at let's get some regularity and some dependability and some smooth functionality, and I'd be really happy. So let's see what we can do. But meanwhile, if I'm recording these and they become archived in YouTube and that continues on, it's really the basis for what I need for what I'm doing.
yeah, oh no, agreed. I mean, you wouldn't want to try and do Smarties on Blab.
No.
But one of the nice advantages of Blab is that it's way easier and less cumbersome to get on or to start than an HOA is. I mean, you literally go to the website, you type in 3 basic hashtags of what your show is about, and you decide you're doing it now or later, and you push start, and you're on.
Right.
So what you're saying, Bill, is Blab as well as Periscope, I guess they're much more spontaneous, I think.
Exactly.
And much more suited to your mobile usage.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, when you have, like, typically in Hangouts, they're kind of moderated, I find. The person who runs the Hangout runs the Hangout. Whereas when you get 4 people in Blab, I mean, one question might be asked and heard 4 different ways, so you never really know which channel or which direction that conversation might go. So you're absolutely right. I think it's more spontaneous and less
Mhm.
controlled than an
Mhm.
HOA.
Yeah.
Well, what
So the other thing that I've noticed about the blabs that I've watched is that in a sort of way it feels like everybody's talking at once. Whereas here, it's partially the technology. I mean, it really is only one person at a time, so that others can hear what is being said.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
it's more about the technology. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's four people participating at one time, but you don't get a lot of talking over each other,
Hmm.
I don't find.
Actually, I would say the opposite. To the few that I
Really?
watched, that's kind of what it was. To the point where I just kind of left because like I couldn't follow the thread of what was being what it was just all over the place, and
Oh,
I
really?
know from hearing Steve Dotto say that that's kind of what a lot of the early blabs were like. Until people learn how to make use of them in an effective way, I think is kind of
Yeah.
partly that.
Well, maybe partly or part of the advantage I had, and the ones I watched were typically Google Plus people. So maybe they, well, no, not to say Google Plus are better blabbers, but we might be more used to, that take your turn one-on-one kind of thing.
Hmm,
well,
yeah.
one of the things is that Google Plus inherently teaches good manners, and it's basically um, not everybody conforms to that, but I mean predominantly the people are based on a standing of better manners.
Mhm,
And so when you mix that into the conversation, you're going to have better conversations. And if you keep the subject focused, then you have an opportunity, not a guarantee, but the opportunity to have some good exchange.
mhm,
And it's kind of like the organization factor of the Google Hangout. I give a lot of thought to what we're going to talk about, and so do all my people. And then
mhm,
we come together and we share thoughts. Well, the show itself is not pre-scripted, other than the points and the direction of the conversation. But I trust that my people know what they're talking about, so that when I give the floor to Molly and say, "Okay, Molly, take it away," I don't know what she's going to say. I mean, some people might consider that, Roland, you're taking a chance. You've got this stamp of approval and you're branding on this show, and you're going to let Molly take it away. What is she going to say? And I trust her, and I've worked with her enough to know that most everything she says I understand and agree with, and I'm 99% sure that she's going to deliver value to the people watching the show. I mean, there's always this element of doubt because that's part of the nature of getting to know each other and having an ongoing relationship. But we have to be in the type of field where it's like, okay, I don't know if I agree with that, but that's good information, and I'm really glad that we can extend the conversation and think about that, and I'm going to do some more research and figure out what I feel about that. That's the way the show is designed. We have had people disagree. We've had people compliment each other, but for the most part, 99.9% of the time, we are moving in the same direction. It's like we might handle our strategies differently per client, but all of us want the same thing for the client, and we would pretty much generate the same direction. So we've got a likeness of mind that we develop through the Hangout scene, and it works for the presentation that we give in Hangouts. And of course, I don't think that we can duplicate anything that we do very well in Blab. So Blab has its place, though. I think it's good for outreach and building new discussions with new people, meeting and building new relationships, and most certainly getting your word out to masses of people that don't know who you are.
Yeah. Well, with Blab, you can't control who's going to come in next, right? I
Right.
mean, obviously you invite them in, but you, with your HOA, you've selected three panelists that obviously you get along with. I mean, Molly wouldn't be there every Saturday if you were constantly butting heads. So you're like-minded. You're like-minded, but the fifth or the sixth or the eighth person that comes into your blab may not. They may want to take you to task on your subject.
Yeah,
Well,
and
I have a totally different model that I use for my Hangouts. And I started out thinking that they were going to be a mastermind, because I've done mastermind groups locally with, face to face locally. And some of my participants decided that we needed a better terminology, so we call it a success circle now. But I host it within a community, so they have to come into the community to join in. But I never know who's going to show up. It's whoever likes the topic, and that's one thing I was going to say, that especially for people who are just starting out with the whole Hangout idea and how to do this, they appreciate a moderator creating a subject and maybe creating a little bit of structure so that it gives them a greater comfort level, I think. And so I don't ever know who's going to show up in my success circle on Tuesday morning. Whoever comes, I invite them in. And if they have the courage to come in and chat the way we're doing now, but I usually have a topic, something, and sometimes they come because they want to learn something, and sometimes they come because they want to share something. That's the nature of the thing. It seems to work really well.
so okay, this is great. I've been trying to figure out how to time myself so that I could join you and at least watch your HOA. So
Yeah.
let's have it, Roland. Tell us about tell
Tu-
us.
Tuesday morning, 9 a.m. Pacific time.
Okay, and name 3 subjects that you've covered so that we can get an idea of what you talk about.
Well, last week, for example, there were 2 people who said, or actually 2 weeks ago, 2 people said, we're thinking about creating a new website. And I really would like to talk about, how do I get started? What do I do? What do I need to think about? All of that. So that was the topic. And 2 people were particularly interested, and then there were 3 or 4 others who had things to offer and to share. So based on that, I've decided that next week's will be about blogging, because that's the next general thing that you might be talking about. So what do you need to think about before you start blogging? So that's just within the last little while, but we've covered a lot, the whole gamut. What are good tools for time management, or I mean, we've just covered. I've tried to cover everything and anything that a solo entrepreneur would need to know about.
So your show and my show, the Smarties, are very much in tandem as far as our
Yeah,
subject matter,
yeah.
and I want to tune in on yours. So I am in your circle, right? And I will get an invitation.
Well, the community is called Being Your Own CEO.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm gonna look it up right now, and I want to go there.
right on. Well, you would be most welcome.
So repeat the name again.
Being Your Own CEO.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just I feel like this is sort of running down my lane a little bit too much. It's just to get back to the whole idea of how what happens in a typical hangout versus a blab or a periscope or whatever. And the other thing that I haven't done it yet, but I've been really, really thinking about is playing with a crowdcast, because you can embed the whole crowdcast experience on your website.
Yeah.
So I see that as a really valuable aspect. So
Absolutely.
I don't know whether you can do that with the Blab or not. I have no idea, or I haven't even thought through whether I even want to
Yeah, you
do.
can actually do it with a Blab, but can you not do it with a Hangout as well by just taking the YouTube video and embedding it?
Oh yeah, but that would be somebody actually watching it after it's done, and watching it as a video.
Oh, I see. You want people to come into
Yeah,
your website to watch.
I want the active participation right
Yep,
there. Yeah,
perfect. Yep.
yeah.
Okay, so I've asked to join your community, and Roland, I hope you'll accept
Well,
me.
I can tell you right now, you're accepted, but I won't because I have two screens here. So if I look away to do that, it will be kind of rude. So I'll do it later.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, that's
So Roland, maybe you might want to ask Molly to say a little bit more about this thing that she posted up here, Slack.com. And I haven't had time to look at it, but it looks like it's a messaging. And Molly, you say it happens inside Hangout. It's an app inside the Hangout.
Yeah, I was actually just looking at some of the apps and I saw this little square with an S. I said, what in the world is that? And so I did some research. And what it is it appears to be a brand new app that they've added to Hangouts, and it's a messaging app, meaning, say, if you have a team of coworkers, or say, like our group, where let's just say we're a team and we're on a Hangout and we need to instant message somebody, but you don't want to use the chat feature because maybe not everybody's looking at chat. It will actually message either a cell phone or a desktop, and it will come up with a little notification. You can choose what notification you want, and you can add team members, and then you get this really nice little custom URL. And so what happens is if you decide to use the app, you open it up in the Hangout, and then you just take your URL that you created from the Slack.com website, and you post it into the Slack app, and then you can message people without having to distract them with chat or sending them a ping, because you hear people in Hangouts all the time. You hear ping, 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 because they're trying to chat with each other on a Hangout, and I don't know about you, it's a little annoying because you're trying to focus on the Hangout. So to me, it seems like a really nice solution to be able to instant message people, a group of people that you're working with while you're on Hangout. So
a great idea.
Yeah.
Checking it out. I believe that we are going to be joined by Elaine Nieberding, and
our laughing coach.
yeah, and I also wanted to check in with everybody. We are literally 24 minutes after the hour of noon, and we were supposed to end that
At
long
noon.
ago. So I'll excuse anybody that wants to leave. I'm having fun, so I'm planning on being around a while longer, but I figure maybe another 15, 20 minutes. We probably should wrap it up and let everybody go on with their day. But I'm really glad that you guys showed up, and I'm glad that we didn't have tons more people we couldn't include. If you're watching this hangout and you're one of the 13 people sitting in the audience, be sure to let me know if you want to join in. William Rock just joined us, so I'm going to send him a link just because, so that we all, because we've got the vacancy, we haven't maxed out yet. So Elaine, I think, is coming.
So just to follow Molly, you must have done something because I now see the Slack there. So in my menu.
Yeah, I don't know. I do this all the time.
There are some of these apps that there has to be somebody who opens it, and then everybody that's in the Hangout gets access to it. So I'm going to click on it and see what happens.
Well, that might help with one of my pet peeves with Hangouts, and that's people for half hour after the show started saying hello to each other. Maybe they could take all of that stuff into a Slack.
Maybe that's why they came up with the name Slack, just
Maybe
because
so.
of the.
Hello, Elaine. How you doing? Go ahead and unmute yourself and join this wild conversation that we're having. Your microphone is still muted, and I'm
Yes.
gonna.
What I had to do was turn off the audio in the other browser.
Oh,
Lest I,
gotcha.
that old thing.
Yeah. Well, we had that happen earlier, and we had to shut everybody down and say, "Hey, stop what you're doing. Turn your speakers off." But that's okay. Nice seeing you. I haven't seen you live for over a month, but that's my fault because I've been, extricating myself from Hangouts uh, in order to get a lot of work done, and it's been very beneficial. But how are you doing?
Well, I'm doing fine. The summer's been a dynamic time with some health issues going on with some of my family members. So, I was doing shows and then I wasn't doing shows, and I swore I would never get involved with Twitter. But I'll tell you, I got lured in to
You're
create a
blabbing.
Twitter account so I could see what Blab was about, and I did my first Blab show a couple nights ago. There is a lot of promise there, and it's all about the and. It's not the or, it's the and.
Yeah, right.
Well taken.
And exactly what Johan was saying a few minutes ago, he said some folks are hosting hangout shows and then having post-show blabs. That's good. I'm actually planning for next Tuesday, before my
Pre-show
Holy
blab,
Shift
right?
show, I'm going to have a pre-show
Yeah.
on Blab, the hangout, on Crowdcast, because there are folks over at Blab and tons of people in the world that don't know about Crowdcast, and Crowdcast makes the fuller type of engagement events with the comment stream, with the questions, with the polling, with the demographics, with the SEO benefits, and most folks don't even know it's there. So,
Well, not only
what?
that, they don't even know about Hangouts.
Right. Well, no, a lot of the word going on about Hangouts is Hangouts had too many tech failures. Hangouts were too hard to do. Well, true for some folks, and it's sorry that they abandoned them, because I think folks can be lured back. I really do. And the whole thing with collections is going to drive different kinds of engagement over on Google+. And Marvin Shervington, Martin, him,
Martin.
posted just a few days ago that on Twitter there's a way to create collections on Twitter, the way you can on Google+. So, no brainer, if you have a Twitter account and you are creating your collections on Google+, well then it's probably not going to take that much more to just post it over on Twitter. And the reach on Twitter, tweeting out your event, is what brings people in, because I currently feel like, I just don't have enough reach. No people know the good vibe of me, and I want people to find the good vibe of me and play with me and play more. So I'm going to be exploring. There are lots of playgrounds, and it's and.
Well put, Elaine, and I'm glad you're expressing exactly my sentiments, and that's what I think. When everyone said post blab, I've been thinking pre-blab all this time. So set up my green room, have a blab for an hour, and then just say, okay, my other show's starting, so here we go.
Come on down.
And now that he's finally here, unmute your mic and speak up, William Rock.
Well, guys, this is an incredible hangout. I started listening to it just briefly. I had a break in the whole family thing. Hi, Elaine. And,
Hi, William.
and then it's amazing to see the amount of people over on Blab, though. You know, the testing that we're doing on Blab is incredible for the fact that, yeah, we're testing just like any other platform. You know, you go back to even some of the other ones throughout the last year that we've all tested just to be on the platform and test it out. It was exciting, but did it work? But I think Blab is something more than we're expecting because it allows for the networking even more than what we have for Hangouts. And it's quick. Like some of the people that have had Hangouts that couldn't attend a Hangout because of bandwidth issues, for some reason, Blab is just easy. It just works.
Don't have the band, right?
You have a Twitter account, you accept it with a little mark, and you're done. And
Well, so what I'm wondering is, can you picture us still homesteading in Hangouts and producing our main platform here, and then using Blab as the extension to invite people more into the conversation and the subject of education that we provide already in Hangouts?
for sure. I mean, it's
Absolutely.
utilizing the content, right? So it doesn't matter if it's on Blab. If you record it with Blab, okay, now you have an export file, just like, and then you can upload it to YouTube, just like we do with Hangouts. Though it's an interactive engagement, and I still think that Google still dominates that space. There's some cool things that Blab's doing, but I think that could be incorporated in all of our marketing strategies and looking forward to, okay, something's new. How do we use it? How do we coach? And all those things. My dog's barking. He wants out. So I'm going to...
Okay,
That's just,
that was a nice contribution there. Go ahead, Molly.
I just wanted to quickly throw out there that about 3-4 months ago, Google predicted, they came out with this study, Brand Lab came out with a study that they're predicting that video marketing is gonna grow by 74% by 2017. And look at what's come out in just the last couple months. Blab, Crowdcast, Hangouts has got a new look. So I don't know. It seems like that's the way we're going is video marketing.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the way. And as of how many months ago, Trinette, did I start introducing you to this? And I was already late in my introduction to you.
This was
And
in June?
what was that again?
It was in June.
Yeah, so bad for me for waiting so long to get you involved. But I tried, and then finally we had a hangout one day, and we linked up Trinette, her mom, and her grandmother, my mom, and we had this four-way hangout with all the family members, and they were just like, wow, this is incredible. I'm talking to my son and my daughter and my niece and my grandmother all in the same conversation, and we're just looking at each other live, and my golly, this is really quite a technology here. And then all of a sudden, Trinette was joining me in my Hangouts. Now, so that everybody knows, Trinette is this one brilliant person that you will be seeing in the future, and I'm trying to talk her into checking out Hangouts. She's an amazing person.
Keep it coming. Come on, keep coming.
Yeah, well, I'm doing my best while I've got this circle of influence. But, these are the people. These are some of the more influential people in Hangouts right now. So you can look over the replay and then start following the people in the Hangout, and that'll get you a good foothold on the people who are, a lot of them, doing it right. And so it's a good example for you, and you will be a good example in the future. But some of these people will become connections for you too. So
Trinette will be the very first to be on your very first Hangout.
Oh,
wow.
I promise.
I have to get over my fear of actually hosting something like this, because obviously I don't have a fear of talking, but I do. That's not my thing. I'm not timid by any means. It's just more of a matter of how would I set this up,
Yeah.
And so my uncle is going to be gently badgering me. He sent me an email the other day. It's kind of like, hello, knock, knock, knock. So I thought, all right, I'll listen.
Yeah, you've got so much to share that once we get past the technology issues, it's going to be like, okay, here we are, let's go. And
Well,
you won't be
actually,
worried
yeah.
about the technology. You'll be really focused on your subject.
That
And
part doesn't bother me. I'm more now that my daughter's back in school. Now I have the time because otherwise I had a 13-year-old going through puberty with autism that was just like, hug me but don't touch me. You know, like,
Oh Lord.
I know. So it was one of those things where she just was going through a wonderful declaration of independence without the resources. So it was very clashing, and it was just like she's just like, I hate you, and it's just like, yes, I understand, been there, done that.
you know, for everyone's to further your understanding, we've done this journey with Trinette. Her daughter is autistic and has, basically, she's the most beautiful person. Um, when I would see her like once, twice, three times a year, I'd go over and sit down and then, experience what it was like to work with a child who had autism. And then after not seeing her for a period of a couple years, I went to my mom's house, and that's Trinette's grandmother, and I sat down, and all of a sudden, Samantha just came and plopped down next to me and just kind of leaned on my body. And it's like, wow. The average kid has so many issues in their brain that they can't get over connecting with somebody that has a good vibe. And yet, this child with autism sat down with her uncles, or whatever I am to her. Um, second
Great
cousin
uncle.
twice removed. I don't know what the hell.
Great
Anyway,
uncle.
great uncle. And crawled up in my armpit and just sat down and watched TV. And I thought, man, this is just the coolest feeling that I've had in a long time. And so these autistic kids, if we actually relate to them in the right way and as human beings, can teach us so much. And so the experience that Trinette has been so extensive, and it's not something that you can get out of a college class or a university class. You have to live the experience. And so she's lived it to the fullest, and she has a lot to give to people. But in the meantime, she's learned how to use her hands and her brains to do a lot of things. And one of the things is a micro origami. And about 2 or 3 Christmases ago, she must have sent my family 40 or 50 little boxes. The boxes were handmade in origami, but inside the boxes were origami earrings, each of which were like yay big, and then plus the hook, But I mean, we looked at these things like, oh my God, they're incredible, and me, the marketer, immediately went to, I know I could sell these. I know I could sell these. I could market these things, and I could find a market, and I could sell them. And then, of course, fast forward to today, and this last June, I thought to her, for Trinette, I got to get her into Hangouts, because if she ran a program where she showed a little bit of technique and how to build these things and so forth, and just got online and started talking, she's going to win friends and influence people. And she's got so much to offer that she'll be a success in Hangouts, and then she will reap the harvest of being able to create an occupation, a job while she's at it. So as an example, it's what I'm trying to teach every solopreneur, an entrepreneur that I know that's trying to get into the business. Just do it, my God. You have to get a foothold, and you have to try. You have to get started now. Which has been generally the whole message of Marketing Smarties from its inception. It's like lose the fear and get started.
I'm actually doing that with one of my clients right now. One of my clients is a lady bail bondsman in Jacksonville, and their industry is just horrible right now. They've got something like 70 bail bondsmen, and they get maybe 30 or 40 arrests a week. So I mean, there's not even enough people being arrested for them to sustain their business. And I'm like,
well,
okay,
let's put the word out and fix that problem.
Well, I mean, obviously we don't want to encourage more criminals, but I explained to her, I was like, if you can write national bonds, which she can, well, why aren't you focusing on promoting yourself nationally to where, you know, you can get the word out? And her complaint was, well, I like to talk to the person before I write the bond. For obvious reasons, she wants to make sure they're trustworthy and, you know, they're going to pay their money back. And so I said, well, why don't you start using Hangouts to do that? You can use Hangouts to interview these people that you potentially are going to bond out of jail, and you can get a look. Because, you know, you can talk to somebody on the phone, but you can't see what their expressions or their emotions, you know, if they're lying, you know, call it what it is. And so she's like, all right, why not? Let's give it a shot. I told her, I said, well, worst case, you know, you do the Hangouts, you learn how to do them, you don't write any extra bonds, you know, no harm, no foul. It's not going to cost you anything except learning how to do the Hangouts. So it's kind of an experiment, and I'm going to see what happens. So hopefully I can save her business. So.
Well, you know she's going to get a benefit from that because no form of telephone call without the video can compare with what she's going to experience. So
well,
you know it's
and
going to work.
one of the selling points I told her is I said, listen, you know, you're competing with Dog the Bounty Hunter and all these, you know, personalities that, you know, their TV shows or promotion. And I said, no other bail bondsman that I know of uses Google Hangouts to interview potential clients across the United States. I said, and it's free. That's the main thing. It's a free thing. You just need to figure out how to do it. And she's like, all right, you know, you're right. Let's give it a shot. So I'm hoping, I'm kind of using this as a case study to see, you know, if this is the case with her and she's able to expand nationally by using Hangouts, I mean, any business owner can do it.
Yeah, you know, a thought just occurred to me, and this is a reoccurring thought to me. So I've been in Hangouts for maybe going on 9 months plus a month off. So technically, about 10 months ago, I started Hangouts. But I feel relatively new at it myself, and yet I'm in a circle of people who are like, yeah, we're all on the cutting edge of Hangouts, and we're all doing it. So where are we on the scale of Hangout folks, and how many? What is the saturation level? I mean, in the marketing world and in the online marketing world, are 5%, 10%, 50%, or what is the percentage of people that know and understand what Hangouts are all about and are using Hangouts? Anybody have an answer for that?
I attended a Tech Coast conference yesterday. It's this conference they started up a couple years ago. And I was invited by one of the local agencies. You know, he knows I'm a Google Rising Star, and he's like, yeah, come on down, bring all your Google swag, and we'll get you a table. And I talked to the CTO of the city of Jacksonville and the organizer, and there was a representative from the Florida State University. And I asked them, I said, well, do you guys use Google Hangouts on there? They're like, what's Google Hangouts on there? And this is a technology convention. Okay, this is what these people do for a living, and they don't even know.
That is my point. That is my point. Now, I almost accidentally got into Google Hangouts, and I thought, well, I'm way behind the 8 ball here. I'm just you know, I'm new to this, and I'm behind the ball. How am I going to catch up? And blah blah blah. And in reality, we're on the edge of the new wave, and we are becoming the pros at what a year or 2, 3, 4, 5 from now is going to be the industry standard, and we're going to be teaching people and riding the edge of the wave as it cuts into the future. And that's what people don't realize right now. I mean, they're all playing with this and trying to get a foothold and stuff. And a year or 2 from now, we are going to be the authoritarians on the subject of Hangouts and how to do them right, how to get the best effect, what connects with all the great outreach. And you know, I just think that it's something we cannot measure right now because it's too new. And so thank you for confirming that, Molly. I think that it's a new thing that we're on, and I'm glad to be here with you guys. By the way, Michael Thomas is still watching or something. Michael, did I not send you a link to the green room? And Carmen Mandich, I know we're 45 minutes over the end time of the normal Saturday morning Marketing Smarties, but she's out there too, and you're welcome to the green room. I'm going to send you a link just in case you want to come in, because we've got maybe another 15 minutes that I could drag these people through it. So just in case, I'm going to send Michael Thomas.
Roland, it's Lola.
Yes. Whoops.
There. Sorry, I touched the wrong gizmo here. I think I need to withdraw. Thank you very much for inviting me in. I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation and meeting everybody face to face. It was really fun.
It was
But
great having you, Roland. Thank you very much for coming.
yeah, and look forward to seeing you again soon. So
Okay. And
thanks.
be sure to accept me in your
I
community
will.
and to send me the next invite.
I will.
Circle.
Okay.
Thank
Bye
you.
now.
Okay, that was fun. Now I'm going to send Carmen an invitation, and someone else can carry the conversation for a while.
Yeah, and are you intending to still be live, Roland? This is a long show. It's an and thing.
Well, it's my coffee break hangout, kind of an open house, and I had no idea if any of you would be here or whether I would be sitting here twiddling my thumbs, or my thumb anyway. So let's see. I think I just managed to send Carmen an invitation. Let me.
Well, plus he's got family in the chat now, and if you ever saw our family, we just, we have the speech impediment that every now and then we stop to breathe.
Yeah, well, we have the gift of gab, I guess, no doubt. But I'm glad that it's not absolutely non-directional. We tend to stay on focus pretty well,
We try.
but we don't always succeed. Anyway, I'm glad that we were able to introduce Trinette to more people and to get her involved with this. I love that play on words, the gift of blab. That was from William Rock. Thank you. And
speaking of blab, when I first heard of it, and whatever first day I watched one, I didn't like it, and I didn't like the word blab because it suggested to me people running at the mouth without being conscious, And I would hope that everybody who engages in the blab arena really brings their presentness to the experience, a lot. But one of the reasons that I came within my own heart to accept the name blab was it starts with the same letters as the word bless. So if my job in this world is to, be as in touch with my own heart in my work, and especially in my public work, and bring that through wherever I am, if it happens to be that I'm blessing on blab, well then that's fine. It's just the other playground. But blab and bless, they go together.
well, I'll buy that. And I've got news for you. You really don't have any choice but to accept it. Blab is here to stay, and what I think is good about it, or positive, is that it is a little bit of controversial, because when you say blab, I immediately got a negative vibe from it. It's like blab. I do not want to be in the midst of blabbery, blabberinos. I don't want it, But I got involved with a couple, and then I happened to listen to a couple of good conversations, and I thought, okay, there's potential. Well, regardless of what I think of it, there's potential to this. And so, from hearing what other people have to say, you can get involved with a horrible conversation and a waste of time, or you can get involved in a good one. So part of that is up to us to come up with a good subject matter and then to experience it. And we're going to, no matter what, we're going to generate more interest and conversation around the subjects that we introduce. So if we take on blab and do it effectively, we're going to get better and better at it. I think that we're going to find that we're attracting more people to our Google Hangout platform, where the real learning, when the real direct instructional can happen. Oh, by the way, Lynn Sanders is just hitting me up, and I'm going to ask her to join us. And then I really don't have much more time to keep you guys strung out here.
But we're having fun. We
Yeah,
are
we are
having
having fun. My coffee is now cold, and I'm sitting here waiting for my ever-loving breakfast, which I usually eat after the show. So my Saturday breakfast becomes lunch.
Your
But
stomach is grumbling.
Fast enough.
yeah.
I've already gone through 3 cups.
If I eat breakfast before the hang-out, what happens is I usually eat a bowl of cereal or something, and then those granules of the cereal get stuck in my throat, and I end up coughing through the entire hangout. So on Saturdays, I usually eat later.
You know, Roland, about Hangout hosts going on over to Blab and hosting shows as well as still hosting them on Hangouts.
Yeah.
Especially for those of us who have learned to engage the viewers and engage the audiences. When you see us over on Blab and we are actively paying attention to the comments, or we have a dedicated person with us who's acting as the wing person and acknowledging comments, and even for people who aren't commenting, I mean, at the top of the Blab platform, you know, there are these little circles with all the people who've come in. When you call people's names, it engages them.
Absolutely.
It entices them to stay longer, you know, and then if you are setting up your show where you are inviting people in, you can be very specific what the purpose of their coming in is for. Some people do shows where they invite people to come in for 5 minutes, you know, or give a 15-second like bio, you know, and like give people a chance to do a like a 15-second elevator pitch. If you spell out and are clear on what your intention for participation is, that will help draw and attract the right people. If you have the mindset that you're going to magnetize to you who needs to be participating, again, it's a lot of these same principles about mindset.
Intention on the traction, it all works. No matter what we call it, it works.
And one of the guys who showed up in my first Blab, a guy named Mike Baltas, who does have a profile on Google+, but apparently he has been on Blab since the get-go, since the very start. So he's been doing Blabs, participating in them for 97 days. He posted in the comment stream of the Blab that I was doing a Google Docs document which people could click on, and it gave guidelines for like being, you know, being a good Blab guest. And I thought, wow, how cool is that? I can put, you know, I can put something like that up for my guests and put it into the comment stream periodically. Or let's say I'm doing a laughter yoga show and I want the people participating in laughter yoga to have an overview or maybe even some like medical contraventions for like laughing long and hearty for a long time. I can just post that up there in a Google Doc. They can click that open. It's not making them go to a website or anything like that. You know, I'm not making it overtly commercial. I'm just providing information so they can participate easily. So we will be learning by watching other hosts.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think that's a really good idea. And it's all about setting a precedent and teaching the good stuff. And when more and more people gather around performing as you want them to, the ones that plan on not performing that way are going to go away more. You know, we'll have a few people who want to interrupt just to showboat or whatever. The question I have is, do we have a way of canceling those people out if we want to?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I see. So we can kind of cycle through the people until we have the conversation that we want, or so to speak. Yeah, you're a dud. You can go. You're a dud. You can go. and then eventually come up with a decent energy conversation going on. Well, that gives me some additional hope regarding that. That's good stuff.
You know, you could, Roland, excuse me.
It's all right.
Ron has been my sidekick recently, so I guess that's the R word that's been coming out frequently.
That's
But
neighborly.
you could,
Sure.
if you have someone coming into your blab show, you know, you could have them raise their right hand and swear, just like testifying that, you know, they're going to agree to some participation things. All I can say is every host can make it however they want. It's the playground. It's a new canvas.
That sounds great. So I couldn't talk Lynn Sanders into joining us. She had to go elsewhere, and I'm not sure what Michael Thomas is doing, but he's listening on the side and commenting occasionally. He wants to talk about the cereal, changing my cereal to oatmeal. I'll live longer, and a few odd things. But I think that we're on the verge of wrapping up what we'll be doing for this particular hangout, and I'm really glad everybody showed up. So, anyone want to say a last few words before we wrap this up today?
I'll just say thanks. It was cool hanging out with everyone. I learned a lot, and I'm looking forward to the Smarties show starting back up.
Yeah, I am too. You know, it's funny. We have a coffee hour or 2 hours, and an open house, and we still attracted people who taught us stuff, and I really like that. So it's good stuff. I'm gonna have to rewatch this to figure out what we talked about.
This was just so much fun, just to be able to see so many different personalities from like all around the world, and this was a total trip for me. Even though I know I'm probably the greenest person here because this is my first Google Hangout that wasn't like with my husband or something. But this was such a wonderful experience, honestly.
Oh, wait a minute, everybody! Wait, we can't go yet because we just got Lynn Sanders to join us. Now I can't close it down because it would be an insult to Lynn. Hi, Lynn.
Well, I wasn't dressed for the occasion, you know. I'm just wearing a sweatshirt here.
Personalities from like all around the world.
You got your speakers on.
Yes, turn that off.
Turn that show off.
This is my first Google Hangout that wasn't like with my husband or something. Hearing myself over again. This is like nice. Honestly.
Mute your mic.
Everybody, wait, we can't go yet because we just got Lynn Sanders to join us. Lynn. No, I can't. Lynn, turn it off for a second.
This is Inception. It's a show within a show.
Yeah, what's happening is you've got a browser open with the show live while you're participating.
Close that window out.
Google Hangout that wasn't like with my husband or something. Hearing myself over.
Hello?
Yay!
Well, this is just a demonstration how you have to know technology a little bit.
Yeah, and that's basically Hangouts 101.
I'm sorry, Roland. I wasn't prepared. I didn't know all of a
That's
sudden.
okay. I'm just glad you joined us.
Everything looks so nice over here.
And before we let this go any further, I want to be able to give us a moment because I have not yet mentioned it, but Lynn is sponsoring a Hangout series that she's calling the Summit, the Difference Makers Summit. It is coming up starting the September 11th. And so if you want to give a few ideas of what's coming, because I'm really excited about it.
Well, thank you. I might be a little crazy doing this with such a short time turnaround. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Molly. I just thought there's so many people outside of the Hangout world who don't know anything about Hangouts, who would benefit from our knowledge, whether it's on branding or on building relationships or using Google Hangouts on air or strategic attraction, that I would pull together a group of people and we would give a summit. And then I was advised by a woman who I'm studying with now, Gina Gaudio-Graves at Directions University, that to make it really more impactful, I should consider inviting some bigger name people who have, you know, national reputation. So I just sort of dove in and invited two people at the last minute who I don't know that well. Elaine, you might remember this name, Robert McPhee, who we
Oh yeah.
you heard
Oh,
him speak at the Hangout Marketing Challenge. He's going to come on. I mean, I hadn't spoken to him in like 2 years, but I thought, you know, what the heck, I'd give him a call. And he is in the middle of doing something really fascinating. He's partnering in a program called Mind PT, and it's all about how to experience happiness, which I think you could definitely relate to, Elaine, all the time. And this program is going to be featured on Oprah at the end of October. So we're going to be getting sort of a preview about it. And then I was also referred to someone who I didn't know, and I thought I would just make a cold call. You know, you never know. I think I've gotten brave because Elaine has pushed me to be strong, you know, when we met in person. So just so all you know, there's a site called The Wellness Universe, thewellnessuniverse.com, and it's a resource for people who have all different interests in making this a healthy planet. And I was referred to it through someone who knew about my upcoming children's book that's all about environmental awareness, the friendship between a man and a bird. So I went to this site and I found this woman there. Maybe should I leave it a surprise, Roland, or should I tell everyone here who the woman is? I don't know.
It's up to you, Lynn. It's your show.
Well, all right. Well, I'll just give you a sneak preview. I barely know her, but I was so impressed by what was on the website that I decided I would call the phone number thinking a secretary would answer, you know. So a secretary did not answer. It was the woman her name is Teresa de Grosbois. I think I'm pronouncing it properly. And she has a business called Wildfire WS, all about igniting your passion. She's a 3 times best-selling author. She's giving a TED Talk, and she's very, widely known. And I called her, and she told me it was the best cold call she'd ever had, which is very unusual, because I just told her that I really admired her site. I had been referred to her through Roundabout Way, and I felt that we shared the same passion about making a difference in the world. And we just talked for a few minutes. I said, would you consider being on the summit? And she just said, let me think. And I felt like she was consulting her guides. And she said, I think I should be on it. So I'm telling this all to you so that even though, I have a lot of fears about technical stuff here, and I think most of you here are probably more advanced than I am in all the new technology, the Blab and the Periscope, and I feel like I'm just, trying to keep up. But at least I'm willing to, step out there, and so I made a little cold call, and this woman who has a wonderful reputation, is going to be the last speaker on our program. It's going to be 6 weeks, and I barely know her, but I just love her energy, just like all of you have great energy. That's why we're all here, and whoever's listening probably feels the same. So, my thought is, you never know what's around the corner. Just take a little risk, and you may benefit.
And I have the privilege of being week number 2.
Right.
So everyone is probably thinking, oh, Roland's going to be a part of this. Oh, yeah, he's the only technical web designer that's going to be there. So he's probably going to talk about web design and internet marketing. And it's like, yeah, maybe for about 10 or 15 minutes. And then I'm going to switch my subject totally and talk about success. And it's not going to be anything like what you would expect me to talk about. Although some of you will say, that's Roland, that makes sense. So you'll figure that what I end up saying during and delivering in my hour is probably going to be, that's what Roland's all about, instead of Marketing Smarties. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a really good time.
So we'll have to get the sales page up soon, since we don't have everything all together, but we'll do it. Yeah. So it's really nice to meet all of you here. I didn't even remember that there was a show. I've just been trying to get my computer working well. So, thank you.
And Lynn, I don't know if you've met Trinette, who is my niece.
No, hi. Nice to meet you, Trinette. And there's William Rock.
Yep.
And on the side, Bill, right? And Molly, of course. right? So it's great to see all of you. You always bring a crowd, Roland.
Well, it was really kind of fun, and I didn't know what to expect, so I'm really honored that these people would spend a little time with me today. It's great stuff.
Well, great to see all of you. It's really great.
So
We can't all collect be like Star Trek. I think we should just beam in somewhere together, don't you?
well, doing this is about as close as we've got to beaming in, but it works for me.
Sure.
You know, I don't have to clean up after your messes or pick up after the trail of trash that everyone leaves in my living room, so it works better for me.
It's true. Well, I'll have to listen to the replay for catching up with all of you. I didn't realize.
It's long and drawn out, but it's a lot of fun, and there's actually a lot of information that transpired, so it was good stuff.
Great. Well, thank you all. I was just going to go see about getting my computer fixed again. Just a little tip. I wanted to let you know, if your computer ever says refresh, be sure it's just refreshing a page, not the whole computer.
Oh, no.
So I clicked on this refresh. I'm still having to deal with the consequences. It deleted everything in my computer before the factory installation. So I had to reinstall Microsoft and QuickBooks and my virus protection, and unfortunately not all the data was transferred back properly from the Geek Squad. So I have to still go back and fix that.
You did a total reboot to the.
Yeah, I didn't know what I was doing. See? So I wish I was technical like Molly. She would never.
I was going to say, did you do a system restore? System restore point?
I did something that was wrong, Molly. It did deleted everything. I got my computer. I looked at it in the morning and it wasn't what it was supposed to look like. So I went to Best Buy because I have a range with the Geek Squad, and they said it would take like a week. It took 5 days to put things back, but they didn't put back some of the data from my QuickBooks. So yesterday I was going into QuickBooks and I was missing all of 2015.
I think Geek Squad did you a bad turn myself.
I was about to say, the very first thing they should have done is they should have backed up all your data. That should have been the very first thing they did.
I have this. That's the backup. But they said the files were there, were some Word files, but this was QuickBook files. I just found it out yesterday.
No, you're talking about data files. We're talking about system files. Molly could have suggested that they basically grab a mirror image of you with your operating system and your setup and all the details, so all that stuff you lost would not necessarily be lost.
Oh.
Well, and normally there's a backup, and I posted a link in the comments over here, and it's Carbonite. It's a company that I've used for a long time, and it's something that I use. I download all my files, my Google backup file, my Facebook backup file, everything, and I put it into a external drive. And then what I ended up doing is utilizing like Carbonite or other third-party tools to back up that data in different locations that are secure. And then when I do have a crash, which I've had plenty of those, and I've also done what you said, the refresh, where it's not really a refresh. I accidentally deleted my Mac.
Oh.
But I didn't know what I was doing because I was new on Mac. I went from PC to Mac completely, even though I had experience with Mac before. But then now I'm totally Mac.
Really sorry to hear that.
Well, there's so many people that say that, but you know what? There's a lot more I can do to protect myself with Mac than I can.
Well, I have a question. Molly's saying to back up my computer files, which are different from system files. So I have this. Isn't this considered? This is an external backup.
It's one external way, and then basically as long as you can restore from that, that's good. But if you don't have like a restore opportunity, and Windows normally doesn't have that. Like for a Mac, it's basically utilizing I forgot the name of it. I'm blanking. But it's basically a system restore. It's a file that copies everything from your desktop, all your documents, and puts them into a place on your external drive. But then the next level, like I think Molly could help me out with this a little bit more, is the, putting it into a cloud backup that's secure too. So that if your drive was to fail, all of a sudden your system went completely blank, and then all of a sudden you went to go restore and you had this external drive. Could you bring that back? Possibly, but sometimes not. You have the files, but that's not everything else. And sometimes you forget to back up certain folders on the programs that give you for external backups. So being able to actually have a carbon copy of not only your hard drive, but then having it in the cloud that you can download or have them send you a disk or a jump drive that has all your data, for sometimes it's near to nothing. It's like a couple bucks.
Okay. Well, thank you.
It's really worth the time to invest in either getting an external hard drive, or you can get your own server, or you can use cloud services. For that matter, you could even use Google. Google has storage that you can buy. I think it's terabyte for $10 a month, and you can upload all your files there. And then if, say, something happens, I actually had this happen back in 2009. There's this really weird storm that came up. Short version, electricity hit a phone pole, and it literally fried my computer. I mean, it glassed over the hard drive because it absorbed all the electricity. I lost everything. And
Oh my gosh.
I literally sat and cried because I'm like, I lost everything, and I learned my lesson. Back up your data in the cloud, external hard drive. Just back it up, because, like William was saying, for some reason something just craps out, or you hit a wrong button, or worse, God, I wouldn't wish the electrical storm thing to happen, but weird circumstance happens. You always have that peace of mind knowing, hey, it's in the cloud, it's on my external hard drive, all I got to do is do it. And I strongly recommend at least once a week backing up that data for all your new files that you're generating.
All right. Well, I thought this was sufficient. I mean, I'm hoping, but maybe it isn't. Maybe I need to be in a cloud.
Well, and the hard part is, like I put in the chat here, I lost, I believe, about 3 terabytes of data. And kind of similar to Molly, a drive crashed. I had a 3 terabyte drive that I was actually syncing with other drives, and then everything just kind of didn't work the way I expected it. And I lost all my data, which is, 3 terabytes of data. That's video files, that's client files, that's everything. That's backups of my servers and everything else. So when I
Unbelievable.
When I did that, basically it's like, okay, Molly brings up a good point. Google Drive, it's not very expensive, and you have dual authentication. You also have triple authentication if you use there's an iOS app for Authenticator, and there's also an Android app for Authenticator that you can actually, instead of getting the text message for your dual authentication stuff, go with the Authenticator. It refreshes every few seconds, so there's no way somebody's going to get that code.
Okay. Yeah. I'll have to look into those. Thank you. Thank you all.
Sure.
Well, it's so good to see you.
Yeah, what do you say? I think that I've got it's about time to turn everybody loose and let you go on with your day. And that's a nice way of saying, I need a break. And probably, been past my relaxed time here. But this has been a lot of fun, and I'm glad I did it. Every once in a while, we're going to do a Smarties show like this, where it's just a gab session. So Blab is one thing. Well, we'll get together with Google Gab. And thank you very much for joining us. Anyone else want to shout a last whatever, and then I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the live aspect of the broadcast.
I'll finish, and I'll just say it's all about connection. I'll never forget, Roland, when I heard you use the words, not relationship marketing, but like engagement marketing. And it's about engagement. So if we do it on Blab, that's great. If we manage to make compelling posts on G+, with the pictures that draw people in, that's engagement marketing. If we're weaving people back in together and are willing to experiment in new ways for engage, it's all good. So come play with us on Tuesday for the Holy Shift Show and the pre and post blabs that we're going to do. And I hope some of you on this show can join me on those events. We'll talk about that post broadcast. I hope.
Sounds good. All right, then thank you all for being here. I really am refreshed for one thing and fulfilled that the Saturday Morning Marketing Smarties show is worthwhile and that we'll be carrying on again as of September 5th. But today was the open house, and I'd very much like to see you guys in my living room the way I did. And glad that it wasn't actually happening to be in person. Although, I think that would be a fabulous thing someday.
Definitely.
So,
Thank you all. It's great popping in.
Yeah, thanks, Lynn, for coming in. Elaine, thank you very much. Bill, it's always a pleasure as usual. We got to do more of this. And Molly, thank you so much. William Rock, I am honored that you would join us today. Thank you very much. And Trinette, always love having you around. So we'll get you in here more and more often.
Okay.
So with you guys' permission, I'm going to go ahead and close the broadcast and say goodbye to the Saturday Morning Marketing Smarties. And I doubt that we're going to get very many replays on this, especially when they realize it's 2 hours and 15, 17 minutes long. But that's okay. I don't care. What a way to end a HOA. I don't care. Well,
I don't care.
Yeah, this will be the I don't care webinar that we had. Okay, so thanks a lot, everybody. Thank you.
Take
Bye,
care.
everyone.
Bye.
See you inside the GR.